but better than the 80-20 that we got in game number 2.
Yeah, you'll take the extra percentage upgrade at that point. And I tend to agree. I think the amount of beads pull that the Gilded Gladiators have just in their top 3, you know, you throw the RDO, you throw the Hunbats, you throw the Athena to the backline, you're going to be getting beads down, and that opens up the doors for just about everyone else, right, to try and follow up with that CC. Snoopy doesn't try to hit some of these free ults, he will have the backup essentially guaranteed, because someone is getting locked down, right, at that point. You better be, if you've got all that CC at hand. So I think that makes his job a lot easier. That was one of the main concerns I had with the Yu Huang in game number 1 when he piloted it was, are you connecting with that ultimate? More often than not, the answer was no, but now that you got, you know, this much setup, should be just fine. Question is, how much value can Hurrywin get? How much value can this Ganesh bring? Definitely going to be getting taunted back. How much damage do you have? Scream!
Oh,
he's got a lot of it. Damage coming his way.
A lot of damage, and a beads burn onto the Thor there early on. And I want to point it out early so that we can track it throughout the game. Snoopy, you went to this Yu Huang game number 1. I know we weren't the biggest fan. I don't think he looked the greatest on it. And we were particularly critical of the build. This time already starting with something new, maybe trying to stack things up. It looked a little bit better with that pressure in the mid lane. This time he is the one poking Venenu out. And there's poke all across the map, as close to a solo kill potentially on that right-hand side between the Guardian Warrior matchup. I think it'll be interesting to see where we find that first bit of action. Who's the gank going to be focused on? Where are the junglers focused for these first set of buff invades? You've seen it on the left side for the shield buff, but right now they're on the right camps.
Yeah, Ven wants to try and hit that shining metal. Can't find it, so Snoopy lives to see another day. But at the very least, yeah, that poke is coming back. I think the change, Nuwa giving her access to 2 minions this early on, makes her early game so much better. Can you find the shining metal or the double tap? Either will do, but the up down. Then Scream in some trouble, but that gets the first one, and Snoopy gets the trade.
Oh my goodness, the trade.
Look at Scream.
Back
Look at
and
him.
forth.
Just sitting back like, oh, part of the plan. That's the first one. He looks so smug. Like that was all part of the plan. Hey, technically speaking, it ended up working out, right? The Highland Ravens get better out of that trade. Still, that look. If Kirby could see the look on Scream's face when he got that trade, he would have been pretty upset.
What an interesting interaction as well. Like the knock up, the teleport to the hammer, the dive that comes through, and then Ben with the clutch shining metal to pick up the first blood. Looks like that action was indeed in the mid lane first off, and Snoopy not afraid to get involved. This time though, that'd be Scream is immediately getting involved over on the left hand side. Bit of a body block onto Kana. He's got to use those cooldowns as well, but with Kirmi over here, have to be careful with your Haddocks. Low health bars there right as the blue buff spawns. Looks like both junglers will back off, just try to secure their own farm.
Yep, Scream didn't have quite enough damage to pull that kill, and unfortunately mistimed the wall there with Haddock. I don't think it would have mattered too much, but maybe if you get the stun here, a little bit better, but the stun from Kana is just enough to close that gap. Wow, well played there from Kana. That's a very low stakes option, but it's the only play you had, and it ends up working out, getting that stun off. Man, on a knife set, it's balancing over there in solo lane. Kirmi was actually able to pull to level 5 first because of how much time Scream spent over on the right side of the map. Where's Fear No Evil though? Where's your good target? So far, if you look to the right, everyone but Hurrywin has beads locked and loaded. So you're either looking towards duo lane, or you're waiting until someone else pulls beads for you.
Well, this is a tough one, right? For pretty much all the Highland Ravens. We mentioned at the beginning of the game, the beads burn from the Gladiators has to be a core focus of how they're looking to play these team fights. You cannot be burning the same set of beads on an Athena taunt and a Fear No Evil. You can't like combine them, right? Because then you're just wasting value. And I almost think there's a lot of pressure on Awesome Jake to try and make this room early in fights so that Kirmi actually has room to find value on this Fear No Evil.
I would say so as well. Awesome Jake should be dash taunting essentially off cooldown as long as he knows that Scream's nowhere near. In this case, he does not know that, right? Because Scream is in the jungle, looking to probably find, if I had to guess, Awesome Jake, right? You could pull the beads off of Stu, that's not terrible, but you're probably not finding a kill there, especially with Hurrywind's ult down. Addict's down third. He should be able to close gaps here, no problems. You lose your beads, of course, but again, that was the first ult. Kiermi has Jotuns already. He'll be able to come back. The question is, do you have the damage next time in 70 seconds where you can actually find that kill?
Yeah, that's why you get the beads first if you're Haddix. It may have seen, you know, he's the tank, he's the solo laner, but with that kind of pressure, you can absolutely expect Kieran to be over there trying to take advantage of that relic being down. And at this point, it's interesting from both of the junglers to see that lack of focus. Awesome Jake channeling the ultimate, maybe recognized a bit earlier that he was outnumbered there. Now might be a little bit of a scrap here towards these left camps. Ultimate gets dropped. I think that was beads from Snoopy just to immune the stun there. Garment Pillars dropped as well. A little bit more pressure for the Highland Ravens there in mid.
Yeah, they able to pull the beads off, which is a big deal. So now Scream has a decent target. That Anvil of Dawn. You have to pre-Celestial Flight that ultimate. It takes a bit of wind-up time, so if you look up and realize you're being ulted, yeah, there's a chance, but you're not going to reaction jump it if you look down at your feet, right? You have to know that ultimate is coming. So Snoopy's going to have to be looking towards the skies and just keeping an eye on where Scream rotates towards. Because you don't want to be getting 100 to 0'd, especially with the help from the fire shards that Ven can go into at any moment with that new wall ultimate to try and help confirm that kill. I still have my eye on Haddix's beads, right? He goes towards Rune Forge. You've got so much lockdown with Kana. Like, maybe Kiermi's whole play was to go for that one gank, hope it happens, and if it doesn't give up, you have at least one more opportunity to go in for an ultimate once your blink comes up in about 30 seconds. But Kiermi's on the other side of the map. Not too focused on solo, not too focused on Haddix. More so looking to see if Ven was going to step out of the tower range, which he absolutely did not. Because Ven's got no vision, right? No reason to put yourself out of position when you don't know where that Hunbats could be.
Despite the fact that I think this is the earliest first blood and earliest trade of kills that we've had so far this set, this feels like the slowest game so far. We haven't seen any of those jungle invades try to come through. Neither of the junglers, I think, have made their way over to this left-hand side towards that shield buff. And it feels a little bit hesitant, which I'm surprised by, especially given Scream on the Anvil of Dawn, because it's like that. You have that semi-global pressure, and with the damage that Ven can do across the map as well, it almost feels like they should have a little bit more pressure, be trying to force things a little bit harder, but it might be here. On that side, Irwin, he pops the hasten, will try and get the damage off early on. The snipes come through onto Zapman. Both ADCs down low, and the shield buff contested. Goes over to the Ravens, grabs onto Hurwind. I think they can continue this chase, but it'll be a question of who wants it more if they choose to stick around here.
Yeah, Ben provided the ultimate to try and help with that damage, but it wasn't going to happen. Stu should be just fine for now, so that's all she wrote. We did see that Scream went in for an ultimate attempt onto Snoopy, but again, Snoopy just sort of watched that ult and said, yeah, bro, I'm not leaving tower line. Like, I have no reason to step forward, so you're not catching my beats out anytime soon. I'm just thinking about how easy it is, or I guess in this case, how difficult it is for the Highland Ravens to initiate. If it's not off of a Thor wall, I mean, Hurrywin has been dropping Frenzy, dropping the Dharmic Pillars, and hoping that creates some sort of space. But so far, the Gilded Gladiators have not been too frightened about it. They just sort of bunker down, walk through the Dharmic Pillars, say, hey, you don't do much damage and you don't have much follow-up. You're not going to pull a relic just by dropping that ultimate. But for now, Hurrywin hasn't really left. He was spending a lot of time on the left side of the map. Maybe his rotation over towards mid can, open up some space to try and go towards Snoopy. But Yu Huang, definitely one of the safer mid laners you can go in this slot. Going up to the Celestial Flight just buys you so much time to get underneath tower.
I'm just still stuck on the fact that we watched Hurwin walk over to left and self-pop the Frenzy so that he could get
He frenzied himself. He didn't care about Zap. He said, I am the damage here.
He wanted the damage onto the Dharmic Pillars. That's certainly the energy you need from the typically passive Ganesh. We haven't talked a little bit about it on the desk, this interaction between the Ganesha and this Athena. Both supports fantastic in their own right. We've seen quite a bit of both of them here in Season 10. I think the interaction specifically, sure, like you're enjoying into the taunt, but I mean, it's plays like that where Jake can get the taunt off first, and Herwin doesn't necessarily always want to be using the silence onto that taunt. I don't necessarily think it's like 1v1 counter matchup as it would seem.
No, you guys are trying to help out. Hold that thought though. Scream going up to the sky. Did Kiermy hear this? It seems like it. He is booking it towards the tower. Will not be able to make it out. But Kana gets CC chain, and the ult is too little too late. Haddox picks that one up, and Kiermy was getting pretty low there. And the double tap connects. Man, Kiermy definitely wants to run away from this one. Haddox has the ultimate, but cannot get to the skies in time. Unfortunate for Kana. I thought that once Kiermy called that out, the safety would come through, but a well-placed Thor wall is going to get you every single time.
Beautiful wall, absolutely. From Scream, that's the second time it's punished Kana out over there. The first time I think he was able to get away just by the skin of his teeth with a little bit of a stun, but Venenu has also been well-timed on these ults. Now granted, hard to not be
massive
well-timed.
skill shot there from
Hard,
Ben. You know
hard
what?
to not be
I regret giving credit to anyone except for Ben. Who cares about the Thor wall? That's easy. Ben clicked 4 immaculately there, and it was the whole reason the gank happened, and if we get to interview him after this, I will congratulate him.
Absolutely deserves the congratulations. Nuwa typically faming for their top damage, but on the left side of the fight, Zatman under some pressure, 2 out of 3 shots hit, and the dash off the mark. Stu looking for the damage back onto her when the taunt is there. Half HP on both of the dual lane characters here for the Ravens. And Kiermy and Scream have found a little bit of a scrap here over in the jungle. Perfectly timed. And although the fire shards comes out immaculately from Ben, I don't know if it'll be enough to help out. Kiermy finds a double, and Herwin gets taunted back in looking for 3. And Kiermy grabs the triple on the left side.
And again, there's no rotation so many times. And I think this call was actually correct because Ven recognized, hey, I ulted, right? I helped out the team. I'm not going to make that rotation all the way over to left. But I am amazed that Zap, knowing that Ben wasn't coming, walked up to that purple buff.
Just walked in.
I'm amazed that Scream hammers aggressively knowing that Ben's not coming because who rotates in but Snoopy. And also that, Zap and Herwin has put themselves in such a bad spot. These are the kind of plays that you have to make. Hey, I've got fire charge, that's it. We're not fighting this. And that's the end of it. I think Ben made the absolute correct call. It's better to not rotate than to rotate late, 9 times out of 10. Ben gets a tier 1 tower. That's just going to be better for the team at that point. But why Zap walked up for that purple buff, and why Scream took the fight in the jungle, very shocking.
Awesome Jake under some pressure here on this left-hand side. Will ult towards Kiermy, but this will just be a full disengage if they can find it. A turnaround though, Scream gets deleted, and Snoopy finds the damage. Kiermy up to 4-0 on this Hunt Bats pick, and right as the beacon spawns, the fight has not stopped quite yet. Haddox and Zapman side lane joining the fight, and you can feel the damage coming through. It's 1 and 2 for the side laners, and the Highland Ravens answer back with the trades, and they'll grab the beacon as well.
Yeah, but I'm going to bring up the lack of rotations. Unfortunately for Kana, you cannot match the rotation pressure of Horus. Looks like Herwin's going to stick around, grab that beacon, and now Fury is pulled. Stewart's nearby, though, has the snipes. Kiermy has the Sacred Monkey Toss. No ultimate available. This is essentially some auto attacks from Stewart, or you're giving that one up and going for the snipes. The Highland Ravens get it for free, and they're able to walk back. Still, unfortunate for Kana, right? You can never match that global presence. Sitting there in lane is the best you can do, but if Haddox doesn't make it to that fight, the Gilded Gladiators win that for free.
Yeah, it goes a lot worse for them for sure. So good rotation there out of both Zapman and Haddox to make it to that fight. Well timed, and a 2-for-1 nets them the gold lead, or at least gold back to even, it feels like, with that gold Fury. Gilded Gladiators have felt in control thus far, and I think a lot of it has been through Kiermy. It'll continue to be through Kiermy. In fact, Beats burned off his Zap. The Dharmic Pillar's right on to Kiermy. Jumps onto the Shining Metal is there, though. And the Fire Shards will destroy immaculately. Take down the enemy jungler. Huge 4 press for Venenu.
I love the big brain play, though. Kiermy didn't make it, but you could tell he's like, do I just step on Dharmic Pillars and give the kill over to Herwin? Like, he was thinking about it. He got really close. He's like, no, there's no way. It's probably going to go over to Zap. And I don't want to do that because he was nearby and did a little bit of damage to me. So he ends up just dying to Ven's ultimate anyways. But once again, Zap dashes into his purple buff, had no idea Kiermy was behind him. The beads were too little, did not matter. Kirmi has been in the right place at the right time. The only unfortunate thing is you give a 4-0 shutdown to Ven for clicking 4. I mean, he didn't have to do anything at all to claim that kill. 2-0 and 3, a part of all 5 of the Ravens kills. I mean, level 16 as well, top farm. Nuwa's going to be chunking. Kirmi doesn't really want to get anywhere near Ven, and that's the issue. These melee junglers, when a Nuwa gets fed, just get 100-0 anytime they get even hit by that clay soldier explosion.
Yeah, I mean, it's really got to be a full combo. Maybe you find Ven without beads in the perfect scenario, sure. But I think these side lanes are the right place where you want to focus. And so far, you can't blame Kirmi. He's having success, right? He was 4-0 and 2, now 4-1 and 2, of course, on that left-hand side. But he is a lot of the forcing factor for the Gladiators. And he's over here as well. 5-man grouping onto Irwin. He is getting shredded down, and the Glads get the pyro as well. 1 down to start the fight. And Scream may be next on the chopping block, but it's a turnaround onto Snoopy instead. And the Highland Ravens are grouped up for the chase. Kirmi is the focus, and a dash from Zapman could peel, but Scream has it on the other side of the jungle, and Zapman finds the jungler. It's a 3-for-1 plus pyro, and the Highland Ravens still in control.
Gilded Gladiators were able to get the finishing touch on the pyro, but for what, right? You lose 3 in the process, and I gotta say, this Horus has been so impactful. The amount of CC from just about everyone, but more specifically, these ultimates from Haddox have been putting him in the right position to set up for his team. Scream hits a big ult there. I thought he was going to get turned and burned. I mean, double relics was essentially 1 HP. Threw out the wall, in my mind, just as like a last-ditch effort to try and save himself up against Kana, and then hits the double tap onto Snoopy and finds the kill, as well as returning plenty of damage over to Kana. So just makes the best out of a bad situation. And then Zap and Haddox go massive there with thanks to the CC from this Horus. And Scream finding that extra cleanup kill in the jungle. I mean, I'm just going to keep my eyes on Haddox essentially, because it seems like wherever he is, he's going to be initiating fights, he's going to be setting up for his team, and there's going to be action that soon follows.
I'm keeping my eyes on Kana. It feels like he has been a big difference maker, but it's when he can join the fights, right? He cannot follow the ultimates from Haddox. Certainly, though, Kirmi doesn't need either of the solo laners here. If he wants to start things going, he's going to try and turn some damage around. At least helps out with the trade. Might be! Oh, my goodness, Stewart. He's got the ultimate, though, and will not be in range. Look for Awesome Jake. The silence to peel is beautiful, and it's just a 1-for-1 on the left.
Wow, I'm trying to think, what could Stewart have done differently to get that extra bit of damage? I don't think anything. I think he started auto-attacking immediately, uses one. Not much you can do there. Hurrywin looks like he's going to be a little bit too little too late. Has the Dharma Potion to get in range, but there, perfectly timed. Gilded Gladiators grab the Oni Fury thanks to that pick. And Zapman once again, double relics, the Fear No Evil. That's the big difference maker for me. This CERN has not had relics up pretty much all game, as Awesome Jake might not have his life up pretty soon thanks to that ultimate and the burst from Venenu. Can't get close to this Nuwa, you will get your dash canceled.
The Dharmic pillars, and I think the body block from the clay minions there keep him trapped on the boundary. Beautifully done by the Highland Ravens. They grab yet another pick. But we're pretty much even here, Charlie. I mean, 18 minutes.
Which is amazing.
8 to 10 in kills. You get a lot of damage difference. I think you can see the top 3 leaders there from the Highland Ravens. You're certainly feeling their advantage a little bit more in fights. But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is the closest it's been at 20 minutes. In the last 2 games, we've had 20-minute Fire Giants. We're gearing for a big fight.
We certainly are. Kirmi was searching through the jungle, trying to figure out if he wanted to step forward and find a huge fight. But with Zap on the left side of the map, I'm thinking no Fire Giant pull for now. If anything, it might be a dive on the Kana. Where's the Thor dunk coming? Can you find the stun? Doesn't look like they're holding this one for long. It actually was Kirmi, but Scream's off the mark.
Illidan misses. The Scream has to try and escape. Haddox is out of there as well, but the Tier 1 tower falls. The Highland Ravens, they don't get as much as they wanted, but they all get out with their lives in the Tier 1 tower in the process. All the while, Zapman over here on this left-hand side just farming up, trying to match this farm from Stewart, but that gives the man advantage here to the Glads. They've got the positioning.
They certainly do. Dash on a Ven, get the beads down. Ven is a bit of trouble here. Does have to back up. He doesn't have ultimate ultimate, doesn't have any CC immunity. You don't want to be that close to Kiermy.
Be that close to Kiermy. They're looking for a pyro fight. Let's hop into a listening with the Glads. Close fight there for the Gladiators. The Ravens, though, they take 4 in the end, and they'll grab the Pyromancer as well. Just felt like they got separated there, middle of the fight.
I mean, it seems like Ven is doing so much damage. He pulls his leads. I mean, Jake does an awesome job. I don't know why I said awesome. It just I really didn't want to say awesome because of awesome Jake, but I did. Either ways, I'm committed. He did an awesome job pulling the beads beforehand. No fire shards available. Ven has no bastion of safety, but Kiermy could not connect the Fear No Evil, and because of that, Ven's able to stay in the back line, use the fog for his team, find some good burst damage. Zap overcommits greatly, as you would expect. You're stirring the back, and you realize, wait a second. Is this guy the jungler or not? Like, why is he so deep in the backline? He does get turned on. But you still have the issue of the level 20 Nuwa, who's been a part of 13 kills so far this game, and is just doing so much damage here for the squad.
That gave him 2,500 damage just on that one fire shard.
And it's going to be up again soon because he's got full CDR. It still does that much damage. You could throw a Rod of Tahuti on the end of this build or an Ob Shard and continue that process.
And Villadon. Channeled by Scream. Just revision off the bat, but looks like it's going to be the Fire Giant, or at least testing the waters if you're the Highland Ravens. But you lose that ultimate, you get the sense that you don't want to try and fight without it. Awesome Jake tries to burn a little bit of something, dashing in for a taunt there, but still, pretty close game. You see a quick fight there from the Ravens. They take the advantage. I mean, if you're the Gladiators, what are you taking away from that? How do you bounce back into the next jungle fight?
I mean, you got to find those beads immediately. Like, Awesome Jake needs to keep doing what he's doing, right? Dash taunt, dash taunt, dash taunt. We've seen it so many times.
Oh,
Zap, what? He's just dashing for shield buff for fun?
My goodness, he's surrounded by him for no chance in this lifetime for Zapman. He'll get taken out essentially for free on the left-hand side. That'll signal for the Gold Fury. They've got to be careful that they don't give away a Fire Giant opening here, but even if they do start it, this will go slow without the ADC.
And that's the big difference maker, right? I think Zap's call was, wait, why are there 4 people here, Fire Giants up? But the Gilded Gladiators are saying, hey, we've got global presence. We know that there's someone nearby at the very least, because look at this, ward coverage. You see that? This time the Gilded Gladiators actually do have ward coverage in the enemy jungle. And that's an easy play to make. They don't have to worry about Fire Giant going down, because yeah, Ven's got decent DPS towards an objective, but not as much as a traditional ADC will have. So the Gilded Gladiators find an easy pick. The good news is that Zap didn't have relics up, so he didn't use relics, meaning he will have them for the next fight. The Gilded Gladiators aren't going to do much with this position. They're just going to back up. They'll take that small win and probably try and translate that to a Fire Giant defense, as the Ravens are going to unleash the Titans with this beacon growth. Might put a stall in the Fire Giant dance we thought we might see.
Those little mistakes, though, that's where you have to be careful on a game at this stage, right? Because this is, you can close it out right here if you're the Ravens. You could end the set, grab your first win, but if you're giving away small picks like that, I mean, imagine that that's on the right-hand side. That's close to the Fire Giant, and that seals the deal on some of these fights where you're giving away small mistakes like that. At this level of play, Zap cannot be giving away his life. I hope, you know, holding onto those relics, that's definitely going to be a good thing. But as this Fire Giant ticks closer and closer, that 30-minute mark still a ways away. But it's the first time that we haven't had one of those 20-minute Fire Giants, and I think it's because both teams recognize the gravity of this next fight.
I certainly do. Upgraded starters for both ADCs. So it looks like both of them will be leaving the duo lane and heading over towards Fire Giant as both Titans head over to left lane. So those will be left alone for the time being. And it's a Pyromancer start here. Hurrywin wants to hold on to the bubble, immediately loses it though, thanks to Awesome Jake, who once again on point with the dash taunt.
Positioning around the Pyromancer for both of these squads. And the Highland Ravens, looks like they feel like they have the advantage into the air. Let's go into a listening with the Ravens. There, folks, they're going to look to end. That Phoenix fight is perfect, but they still need to find the end if they want to push this down. Low health bars, but an immediate wave.
Yeah, no way.
And they will slow down. They will back off. And Trelly, the target focus, that team fight, you heard her win the whole time. And they're always on the CC. That communication was awesome.
I mean, I think the big issue, of course, is that Snoopy gets hit by the Thorol before the fight even starts. He gets half health, and Scream the whole time has the wraparound. And the other thing, that Ven was on point, and he knew exactly where Kirmi was the whole time. He said, Hun at fire, Hun's behind. Can we go on Hunbats here? Immediately Scream walks up, essentially 100 to 0's Kirmi with help from the fire shards. And now it's a 5v4, not to mention Snoopy's beats are gone, right? That's the big difference maker. You're fighting from a disadvantage from the start because of that aggressive play from Scream. Now you've lost to mid Phoenix. The Highland Ravens are already up towards the Fire Giant. Beads and Blink still on Kirmi. Besides that, no relics available for the Gilded Gladiators, and they're starting out chunk because Ven's throwing out that ultimate.
A little bit of a global ward there on the ultimate for Venenu. This mid Phoenix down means that the Gilded Gladiators going to have to keep this mid-wave push if they want to contest this FG. It looks like they do. They are positioned for it. It looks like they're going to prioritize a little bit of ward coverage as well. That's the right thing to do. Feels like 2 fights in a row now around the jungle here, though, that have gone awry for the Gilded Gladiators. And my focus still has to be on Kirmi. The fight centers around him. A good Fear No Evil, you might just win the game. A bad Fear No Evil, no Fear No Evil, you might just lose it.
You certainly might. And because of that, Relic's important. Ven, no beads 30 seconds. Zapman, no nothing for 30 seconds. You don't see the immediate pull. They're playing this one slowly. They want to wait until number 1, that fire wave pushes up, and number 2, these relics come back up. I'm keeping my eyes as well on the beads. Time for Stewart. He has nothing for 20 seconds, so has to watch out anytime Scream goes to the sky. I bet you the second we see Zap's relic come off, the Highland Ravens going for their pull. They're just playing this one slow. No way you stall all the way for EFG. You're just waiting for that one moment where Scream can go to the sky, look for an ult to start this fight off, or the Gilded Gladiators, they're already pushed up pretty far. I'm thinking this is the fight the Ravens won.
They're onto the Fire Giant. It's down to half HP that they have to pull off, and the fight is split. Garmic Pillars onto a couple, and Ven grabs the first kill onto Jake. Kana follows immediately, and Snoopy ends for a double kill onto Zap. Haddix takes down Stewart, and that, folks, is all she wrote. Kirmi, the only remaining member, but he will not be enough. And a triple kill on Zap, a deicide for the Highland Ravens. That seals the deal, a clean sweep for the Ravens.
Yeah, I was puzzled by the aggressive positioning there. I mean, you clear waves, you play defense, but the fact that the Gilded Gladiators took the fight to the Ravens just seemed puzzling, right? The tanks grouped up for Hurrywin to get a fat ultimate there. The Garmic Pillars really do shred your tanks down and make it so much easier to just burn through them. And thanks to the target selection and the single target CC, the Ravens picked that fight apart.
Yeah, it was not... It felt off the bat, it felt like not a bad engage because their focus was split. They had half health on the Fire Giant. They had to find an engage in the back of the fight.